For cheap D2R items, visit aoeah.com. You get 3% off with the code ARIAD. Check the link in the description. Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Smiter Guide. We will look at the superlatives in different areas here, and since the Smiter is mainly used for Übertristram and for PvP, the categories are as follows. The cheapest UT-Smiter, the one with the best price-performance ratio, the strongest Highend Smiter, and the strongest PvP Smiter. How the damage of Smite is calculated and which mods work together with Smite I have already explained in an extra video. You can find it in the description below. For the stat points always the same rule, strength enough for the equipment, dexterity until you have 75% block chance with Holy Shield, and the remaining points go into vitality. The PvP Smiter must pay attention to the fact that he has enough strength to carry all possible change setups too. The skill tree always looks very similar. Smite, Holy Shield and Fanaticism are maximized. In addition, either Salvation is upskilled so that you can compensate Mephisto's aura in Übertristram, or you might put as many points into Conviction as you need to get to aura level 21 with your items, then you can simply override Mephisto's Conviction aura with your own. But this only works for yourself. If you play in a team, the resistance aura also helps the others. Some players also like to use the single resistance auras. Hard skill points increase the maximum resistances here. In addition, you still enable the usual defensive auras with 1 point. The Smiter usually has quite many points left. A PvP Smiter can also upskill Charge and its synergies. He won't need Conviction, and 1 point in Salvation is okay. Here an overview to the breakpoints. For the attack speed, the most common weapon types are listed. Cast rate we only need for teleporting, 30 or 48% are sufficient here. Concerning the hit recovery, the Paladin is quite fine. For most PvE situations, 27% are already enough. In PvP, 48% are okay, and it is also not too difficult to crack the 86%. A few basic things a Smiter needs for Übertristram: Crushing Blow for smashing the bosses fast, Life Tap Curse to keep leeching up in battle. Ordinary Life Leech doesn't work with Smite. Open Wounds is great because it works against the healing of the boss monsters. The mod Prevent Monsters Healing does not work there. Besides, it is of course great to have maximum resistances. Über Mephisto's aura reduces cold, lightning and fire resistance by 125% each, so if you get all resistances to 300%, you will remain at 75%. When using a Thunder Gods, you can calculate 10 more for lightning resist. Life points and damage are of course also welcome. The Smite damage gets massively increased by additional skill points, because they increase Smite itself, Holy Shield which increases the shield damage, and if it's +1 to all Paladin skills, the Fanaticism aura becomes stronger too. Percent enhanced damage from 40 or Phoenix also works, but not plus to min or max damage like on Charms. The damage from Grief works, but it is not shown in the statistics, so you should definitely watch the video about Smite damage that I mentioned earlier. At the latest, with the question whether an Enigma because of +2 skills or a 40 because of 300% ED is more effective, this topic becomes relevant, and the display in the statistics can deceive you. Now the different setups. The cheapest UT-Smiter wears a G-Phase because of Crushing Blow, Duress for resistances, Crushing Blow and Open Wounds, Black in a Flail also gives 40% Crushing Blow, a 4-socketed Elite Paladin shield with 4 perfect diamonds. Ideally the base already has resistances. The amulet is a Nokuzan relic that gives some decent fire resistance. Laying on hands also do. The 20% IAS are already enough to reach the maximum smite speed at aura level 20 with the weapon. The rings are a Dwarf Star and a Raven Frost. The belt is a Thunder Gods because of lightning absorb and maximum lightning resistance. And the shoes Goblin Toe for even more crushing blow. In the change hand we use a life tap wand, and we can use the Treasury armor to precast Fate before fighting against Mephisto. Otherwise you can get the resistances by charms. As you can see, Fate is already enough to get to a very good level, and it's also noticeable that we even have more than 100% crushing blow with this setup, more than necessary. 1200 life points are quite few, but since the inventory is still empty, you could use it to get some more. In principle, this build even works when downgrading some items. Nokuzan, Dwarf or Thunder Gods are not significant to survive Übertristram, and much less chance for crushing blow would also be fine yet. So it still would be possible to go much cheaper, but then UT also becomes more and more difficult and you die more often. So my cheapest variant is rather to be understood in the context of cheapest variant in which UT is already safe and easy, or cheapest variant at highest resistances and greatest chance on crushing blow. In any case, I think it's a good orientation for the budget range. The shown setup should be affordable for about 2 ist runes altogether. We continue with my price performance smiter. Helmet also a G-face here, socketed with a num rune. The armor is a guardian angel with rune, so we can bring all resistances to 90, and 1 skill point and better block qualities are also fine. The shield is a herald of Sakarum, also socketed with The weapon is a Heaven's Light because of the 33% crushing blow. Here we put in 2 Shail for the attack speed. Another more expensive option would be a Grief. Both weapons are top in price performance ratio. Some low rolled Heaven's Light is cheap and works just as well as a better roll, and the Grief also is not too expensive when we thinking that it has high-end qualities. You can even get a really bad roll for a few ist runes and it still will work. Continuing with the amulet, here we can take a Maras. The shoes are Gore Riders because of crushing blow, open wounds and running speed. Dracul's grasp as gloves, so we no longer need a life tap wand. The belt is Thunder Gods again, plus a Ravenfrost and a Carrion Wind. In the change hand CTA and a Spirit, and in the inventory next to Torch and Ani some blank combat skillers. It's nice that we don't have to precast anything here. The resistances are at 90% and lightning even at 95, without needing any charms. Mephisto's Conviction aura is simply overwritten by your own, so you don't have to calculate. We get 3000 smite damage and 83% crushing blow with the Heaven's Light. Using Grief, it is only 50% crushing blow, but the damage is much higher, even though it is displayed lower on the paper. With Warcry, we get to 2500 life. Being a little lucky in trades, you can get such gear for less than a bear rune, of course low rolls then. With a budget of 1 to 2 bear, you will surely get some average stuff. The high-end UT-Smiter now will grab the elite of equipment the item pool has to offer. It starts with a weapon that is very expensive, a Last Wish with as much crushing blow as possible. It also casts Life Tap and Fate, and the Might aura comes into play. The armor is Enigma, so we can teleport. On the head is COA with 2 bear runes, so you have massively physical resistance. The shield is a Phoenix to blow up the damage. Then we have a caster amulet with +2 skills and 18% faster cast rate or more. We aim for the 48 breakpoint. The belt is an arachnid mesh, so we get the remaining 10% FCR from a ring, plus again a Ravenfrost and a pair of Gore Riders. The gloves are some crafted ones with IAS and crushing blow. On Last Wish there unfortunately is no attack speed. In the change hand again CTA and Spirit, and in the inventory skillers with life and resistance charms with life or hit recovery. The high-end paladin almost has about 3900 displayed smite damage, but the up to 400% ED from Phoenix is not shown here. At the same time we have about 3300 life. With the Bulkatus and some more life on the charms, we would get to 4k smite and 3500 life in the display. Furthermore, we have an insane 95% crushing blow. More damage but less crushing blow we get by using a Grief. Life tap also can come from an Exile shield. In addition, you can also switch to 40 regardless of the weapon. More damage but no more teleporting. Both variants are very strong, you could argue about which constellation is the best. Such a build is very expensive, you should calculate about 20 barons for average rolls. At the high end there will be no limit of course. Last but not least, the PvP Smiter. Again, a COA with 2 barons, an Enigma and a Phoenix shield. While we had a base having all resistances before, we'd rather have one with enhanced damage for maximum smite damage now, so up to 465% ED on Phoenix is possible. The weapon is definitely a grief. The amulet should be a 220 here, so we can either crack the 30% or the 48% breakpoint. Then again, Gore Riders, Raven Frost and an FCR ring. The belt is a Verdungos, so we get to maximum 50% reduced damage. For gloves, I like Draculs because of open wounds and life tap. In the offhand again CTA and Spirit, and in the inventory Skillers with life and small charms with resistances, life and hit recovery. In this sideboard the following items are very useful. A COA with 2 runes if you need more resistances, a Herald socketed with a bear, a 40 if you want to play without teleport but with some more damage, an Arachnid Mesh if you want to get to 50% FCR, Steel Rend for even more damage, or Shadow Dancers if you need some extra hit recovery. Finally, I'll show a few PvP examples and a UT run with each variant. I say goodbye with this, take care and may the loot be with you.
Come on. Follow me.